A 60-year-old lady used glue to hide her wrinkles and acted like a young girl to marry the king. In another kingdom, woman who was obsessed ate a dragon's heart to conceive a child. Let's begin the movie story of Tale of Tales, 2015. Spoilers ahead. First story name is The Enchanted Doe. In a kingdom, the king and queen find themselves unable to conceive a child. Seeking a solution, a necromancer proposes a unique remedy for the queen to consume a sea dragon's heart prepared by a maiden's hands. This mystical act is said to grant her motherhood, but at the cost of a life. Tragedy unfolds as the king valiantly defeats the sea dragon, only to succumb to his wounds. Following her husband's demise, the queen consumes the heart as advised and experiences a miracle. She gives birth to a son named Elias. The newborn possesses hair as pale as the dragon's scales. Remarkably, around the same time, the royal cook also gives birth to a boy named Jonah. These two boys, nearly indistinguishable, become fast friends with an unbreakable bond. This intimate friendship becomes a source of unease for the queen, who becomes consumed by jealousy. Her envy drives her to plot Jonah's demise, an endeavor he narrowly escapes. Jonah's departure from the kingdom involves a symbolic act of stabbing a knife into a tree root, accompanied by a promise to Elias. The clear water springing forth from the root will signify his continued existence and well-being. In a single fateful day, the once clear waters turn ominously crimson. Prompted by this unsettling change, Elias embarks on a journey to locate Jonah, his closest companion. In the meantime, the queen commands her subjects to scour the kingdom for Elias, yet their efforts yield no results. Blame is placed upon the queen by the necromancer, who asserts that the youth's inseparability mirrors her own intense yearning, and that achieving her violent desires will demand a violent path. Elias's quest leads him to discover a wounded Jonah hidden within the depths of a cave. While facing imminent danger from a menacing creature, Jonah sustains injuries, but the creature hesitates when confronted with Elias. Ultimately, Elias vanquishes the monster, safeguarding Jonah, and subsequently reunites him with his spouse. However, within the confines of the cave, a shocking transformation takes place. The monster's lifeless form undergoes a mystifying dissolution, revealing the truth that it was none other than the queen herself. Second story is The Flayed Old Lady. In the kingdom of Strongcliff, a king, driven by desire, finds himself captivated by the ethereal melodies that emanate from a woman's voice. This intrigue leads him to court her under the open sky, completely oblivious to the fact that she is one of two elderly siblings, Emma and Dora. To marry the king, this 60-year-old woman tries to glue her wrinkles too, pretend to be a young girl. It is Dora who consents to spend a night with him, on the condition that the darkness remains unbroken. When the sun's first rays pierce the horizon, revealing the world anew, the king is confronted with Dora's visage, a sight that fills him with a chilling dread. This horror propels him to order his guards to cast her from a window set in the rugged cliffs. Yet, remarkably, Dora's fate takes a different turn, as fate's embrace lands her amidst the protective embrace of tree branches, sparing her from a fatal fall. In a twist guided by the hand of a benevolent witch, Dora is whisked away from the precipice of despair. Tender care flows from the witch's breast, nursing Dora back to vitality. An awakening comes to pass, transforming Dora into a young, resplendent maiden, a true embodiment of beauty. As destiny weaves its intricate tapestry, the king crosses paths with this rejuvenated vision while engaged in the pursuit of the hunt. Determination takes root in his heart, and he resolves to elevate Dora to the throne, making her his regal partner. Amidst the joyous atmosphere of their impending union, Dora extends a warm invitation to Emma, beckoning her to share in the celebration. She pledges to safeguard her sister's welfare, albeit within the confines of the castle's walls. However, Emma's staunch refusal to depart sets the stage for a demand, one for the enigmatic elixir of youth and allure that Dora now embodies. Tensions escalate as Emma's persistence strains Dora's patience, leading to a candid admission. The path to this transformation was one that traversed the realm of self-inflicted sacrifice. Ultimately, a breach of boundaries, marked by Emma's intrusion into the sanctity of the royal couple's chambers, culminates in her expulsion. Driven by an unrelenting determination to emulate her sister's metamorphosis, Emma secures a willing hand to undertake the grisly act of flaying, a torturous endeavor that leaves her marred by wounds both physical and emotional. Third story is The Flea. Once upon a time in the land of High Hills, there was a king. This king got really interested in a tiny insect called a flea. He liked it so much that he kept it in his room like a pet. The flea started to grow very big because the king took care of it. But one day, the flea died. The king had an idea to use its skin. He wanted to turn the skin into something useful. Now, the king had a daughter named Violet. She wanted to get married, and she told her father about it. The king thought of a plan. He said that anyone who could guess which animal's skin it was would be able to marry Violet. He thought that nobody could guess it, but there was a big, scary creature called an ogre who had a very good sense of smell. The ogre smelled the skin and guessed it right. This scared Violet a lot. She didn't want to marry the ogre, but her father said he couldn't change his mind. So Violet had to go through with the wedding. She felt very sad and thought her father didn't care about her. When Violet went to live with the ogre, he treated her badly. He hurt her and kept her locked up in his cave. One day, a group of people who could do tricks, called acrobats, came to help Violet. They helped her escape from the ogre. But the ogre didn't give up. He followed them and killed the acrobats. Violet was brave. She talked to the ogre and made him less angry. Then she did something really bold. She used a sharp thing to cut the ogre's throat and stop him. Violet went back to the castle where her father lived. The king was very sick, and Violet showed him the ogre's head. The king felt very sorry and cried. The people who worked in the castle also felt sorry and cried. Even Violet cried. And from that day on, things started to change in the land of High Hills. In the end, Elias, Dora, and the King of Strongcliff are at Violet's special event where she becomes queen. Elias gives a little nod to her and the king. As Violet's dad walks her to the big chair, everyone looks up at the sky. There's a performer walking on a rope made of fire. We start to see Dora looking less pretty, and without anyone noticing, she runs away from the castle. Here this movie concludes.